what have you. That's how you should be able to understand a project. Then the progress and how to evaluate the impact. And then finally, we concluded. He gave us the conclusion on that. Thank you very much. Because of time, I will stop there and allow the facilitator to take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Engineer Robert. That was comprehensive as usual. You never miss anything. Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, so I'll invite the trainer to take us through what we'll be handling today. So any questions, any concerns that you'll be having before the presentation is done, note it down for the Q&A session so that we can at least get past the concept and then we move to Q&A session. If you have any concerns, also put in the chat section if you're not able to speak. But I'd prefer you just keep all the questions to nearing the end so that we don't miss it also in the chat section. Attendance registers will be shared towards the end, towards the Q&A session. So please don't keep on asking about it. We know there has to be shared that attendance register because that's why we are here in the first place, because we are hoping to upskill and also have the ability to showcase that we are able to do certain things through the certificates. So welcome everyone to today's session, and Chris, you can take over from here.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Robert, for that very wonderful recap. You have summarized the whole session very well, and I'm glad. I wish to be sitting next to you so that if I doze off a little bit, I'll have something to take home. Thank you, Diana, for hosting. Thank you, Basket One and Community Breakthrough Support Mission for this wonderful engagement and the discourse. I thank each and every delegate present having taken time to avail yourself. We are just having to facilitate the discussion, but most of the knowledge is resident with you and practice because we are just having a good discourse, reminding ourselves some of these terms and going forward. Then am I audible enough?
You are very audible here.
And perfectly presented.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Good. Has the other question is, has the slide changed? Because that's the other dilemma we normally have with the meets.
Not really.
No.
It has not changed.
No.
We're still seeing your profile picture.
So how do we move from one to the other? That's another thing that I wanted to have. Then how do you normally handle that issue so that we know how to move fast enough?
You've shared your screen already? I presume.
Still not yet changed?
Not yet. Maybe you can look at the window that you're sharing.
No. Diana, can you? I don't know how you do it. Can you share? Then you can control so that I just talk.
Okay. You can just give me a few minutes to set it up.
Because mine has changed. If yours has not changed, then.
Okay, maybe you can just give me a few minutes to set it up, then we can continue from there.
Okay, kindly. Sorry, Tim. I think it's just a technical hitch. Let us allow Diana to host. But as she does share, allow me to just echo what Robert has said as we lay the foundation in terms of understanding, monitoring, and evaluation of monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning, particularly having laid the foundation in terms of the coming all the way top down, understanding the strategy, who whose strategy now defines the components of the portfolio, which leads to understanding different programs, and the programs having been defined as a temporary organization to coordinate strategically related projects, and then cascading further that now it since a program is a temporary organization to coordinate strategically related projects, then what is projects? We also talked about a project being an endeavor undertaken to deliver either a unique product or result or service, and that service or that result or that product is of value. Therefore, when we say value, we already setting ourselves how do we ensure that value is attained, and that's now what brings us to our today's discussions, uh, monitoring and evaluation. I know we have had the basic initial discussions of the terms monitoring, which we normally agree that monitoring is a systematic collection and analysis of data of the ongoing project, program, or policy or operation for the purpose of understanding are we doing what we were expected to be doing. And then evaluation, on its other hand, is finding out exactly what is the value or worthiness of what has happened or what is happening. When we come now, because of time, to look at the types of evaluation, we need to understand the following concepts or terms: the areas of evaluation. What will be the areas of evaluation? We'll be evaluating the outcome. Monitoring focuses on the output, on the coming up of the output, which could be either a product, a result, or a service. But now evaluation focuses primarily on the outcome. What do I mean by that? It is to understand that once you have your output, which could be tangible like a house or a road, or a result, a knowledge base, maybe from research or sensors, or a service that is coming after that, then it becomes critical to look at now, so what? Yes, we have a house here. We have water spread over. We have a hospital. So what? So evaluation looks at so what question. Now, today's agenda we have, as we see now, Dan as is coming, is presenting. We have the types of evaluation, and then we'll have a brief discussion on formative evaluation, summative evaluation, key concepts to consider in MAL, and then MAL software and applications. Those 5 items I know we'll have covered. So when we talk about evaluation focusing on the outcome, we'll be looking exactly how that outcome is brought about. Now, the next time we discuss, we'll now be looking at the nitty-gritty items. Dana, when you are ready, let me see. I'm not seeing any screen. Okay, so that we just move to slide number 3. I think that was just the basic to introduce what we are going to discuss today. And I want to look at, now, what are the types of evaluation? We have agreed that evaluation focuses on the outcome and the impact of one, the project, two, the program, three, the portfolio, four, the operation, five, the policy. We have a pretty much proper understanding of, go to slide number 3, pretty much understanding of project, program, and what is operation. The operation is the day-to-day management of the project or program's outcome. Operation is the day-to-day management of the project or program's outcome. Because once you get to the project, you must have, once the project has been undertaken, it gives birth to output, and this output is now sustained by the operation. That's why evaluation will also be looking, or has to look at, the operations. Now, how do you go about it? The first question is, what are the types of evaluation? So the first type of evaluation will be looking in terms of according to the evaluation timing. When do you do this? And then we have another type according to who conducts the evaluation, or according to evaluation technicality or methodology. So according to evaluation timing, we have a few terms like formative evaluation. Formative evaluation, which is which comes before. You need to understand the situation as it is based on your strategy or the program design, so that you can measure your progress, which becomes before. The other terms that you could say under that is baseline or initial assessment. But who does that, or according to who does that evaluation, is internal or self-evaluation, conducted by those responsible for implementing the program. Why is formative evaluation done by internal? Because you need to understand the situation as it is, so that the strategies that you have designed will be able to fit in. The technicality that, or methodology that is used on that, is real-time evaluation. Real time. You are doing things as they are happening. Next, according to timing, the other type of evaluation you might have is the term summative evaluation. We're going to have further discussion on that. Coming at the end of it, of the project or the program. Because Diana changing next, because you want to have a proper understanding. Did you achieve what you were to achieve? There are two concepts that you need to capture when it comes to a summative evaluation. One is benefits, and the second one is disbenefits. One is what we anticipated to produce, and the second is what came out as a result of us implementing what we have implemented. So that summative occurs at the end of it, so that we need to understand the effectiveness and impact of the program. Then, according to who does that, is done by external independent evaluation, or evaluators outside the program. We mean now the people who are not involved in it, who does that evaluation. And then technicality, which method can you use to carry out summative evaluation, is meta evaluation. Meta, it's like evaluating the evaluation itself. It's huge and very deliberate in terms of looking at the whole project and program, but also understanding the environment within which this project or program was undertaken. The other, according to other timing, the other one you might say is a midterm evaluation. Are formative in purpose and occur midway through implementation. So it's like you have worked along the way, you have not completed, yes, but you just want also to start understanding the worthiness of that particular program or intervention as is going on. Now, according to who conducts the evaluation of the midterm is participatory evaluation. The project or program team as well as the beneficiaries. The technicality here would be very simplified. We would have thematic evaluation. It focuses on the theme. So you want to look at one individual theme: water, grazing land, agriculture, education, health. So those who are participating in that particular intervention become critical players in carrying that, so that the technicality we use the term thematic. Next, Diana. Then the next one would be ex post evaluation. Ex post evaluation are conducted sometime after, long after the project or the intervention has been taken. You finish by the end of June 2024, and then you'll come now to evaluate maybe mid-July 2025, ex post. That's why it's long after. And who does this type of evaluation? Is conducted by joint evaluations, conducted collaboratively by more than one implementing partner. Because we have different agencies that might have participated in this evaluation, but not in evaluation, in these programs. So we just want to know whose benefits can we be harvesting. That's why it's coming long after. And according to technicalities, we use now cluster or sector evaluations. Focuses on a set of related activities, projects, or programs, typically across sites and implemented by multiple organizations. So ex post, we want now to see what benefits, positive things and negative things might have happened by multiple players in this field. So that's how it's called ex post evaluation. Now, and then according to technicality, we have what we call impact evaluation. Focus on the effect of a project rather than it on its management delivery. Now, impact will be looking at what is it that has been brought about. We have some of the interventions, for instance, kazi kwa vijana mitaani, you realize that the immediate outcome was to have these families get income. But when the program stopped, some of the boys went back to their bases and continued to use illegal substances, and they can easily be recruited in the gangs and goons to attack people. So you realize that we want to see what is it that has happened with our intervention and what would have happened without our intervention, and with their intervention, are we making progress? Are we making life better? Next. We also have other type of evaluation we call context evaluation. Context evaluation. It includes examining and describing the context of the program you are evaluating. We need to understand the circumstances within which you are working. When conducting needs assessment and goals assessment, determining the objectives of the program and determining whether the proposed objectives will sufficiently responsive to the identified needs. This is where your knowledge in strategic design and management becomes very critical. Because if you miss to have a proper goals during your strategic design, then the program design may not. We are not just putting their statements for the sake of it, but also to have a proper understanding and be able to get what is very clear. It helps in making program planning decision. Next. Now, as you work on the context evaluation, you realize that the data that is being collected, it should be data that is making sense, and anybody coming later on can refer to it and continue to align the decisions for financing, risk management, appraisals to fit the community's needs and wants. The next type of evaluation you have is input evaluation. It's also a way of looking at the activities and how are you going to finance these activities, which are calling now the input. You need to evaluate. Garbage in, garbage out. If you do not have a proper understanding of what you are going to put in inputs in terms of the resources, human resource, and human resource, we are talking about skills, experience, knowledge, and we're talking about machines and equipment. We're talking about materials, consumables. So it becomes very hard to stop at one point and tell people you have not done what was supposed to be done. First, let us understand what inputs did we give, and now what should we expect. Next. When you're looking at the input, remember, in short, this is a type of evaluation that examines what the program plans on doing and what you need to have put in. It provides, it helps in making what? Program structuring decision. Process evaluation is also another type. It includes in examining how a program is being implemented, monitoring how the program is performing, auditing the program to make sure it follows required legal and ethical guidelines, and identifying defects in the procedural design or in the implementation of the program. So it's just a process of evaluation. It's just saying now, yes, remember the drafters of the strategy which you have picked the program and the project you are implementing, they had a preset checklist of things to be achieved, which will inform what we have to do. So process evaluation helps you to ensure that whatever is happening as per the script. It is here that evaluators provide information about what is actually occurring in the program. Process evaluation, where you tell people, wachana hiyo mambo ya Java, forget about those stories there. This is actually what's happening. So the feedback that they are giving, it helps to design or redesign the program to a point whereby the desired impact is achieved. In general, process evaluation helps in making what? Implementing decision. The decisions that informs implementing. Next. Having indicated those several types of evaluation, want to ask ourselves now, what is formative evaluation? Yes, Diana? What is formative evaluation? It is, okay, before I move on, I see a hand. I see Diana move to the next slide. Yes, Evelyn? Evelyn Namehe?
Sorry, I thought you were posing a question to us.
Yes, I was posing and I'm waiting also Diana to, I wanted to have it before. Now, Namehe, carry on. Carry on, the question is there now.
Yeah. I just wanted to say formative is the analysis of the situation before the project is being implemented, so that you be able to understand the situation and design the right implementation to suit the project goals. For example, if the situation before is maybe it is malaria because of not sleeping in mosquito nets. So like you need to understand how many people are sick, before you get in and maybe supply the mosquito nets and you see whether they will help like that. Thank you.
Good, excellent. And the purpose of it is actually to improve, as you can see on the slide, the project or program design and performance. You want to capture the most critical components of the needs on the ground or opportunities to be intervened, so that when we come later on, you see like the President Ruto, he had a very proper formative evaluation and he gave a lot of expectations. Anyway, let us not go to Gen Z now. So the formative evaluation is actually, as Namia said, it helps to improve the design. It improves the likelihood of achieving successful outcome through better program design. Remember, we have the program output and then the program outcome. And I've said evaluation focuses on the outcome. Next, Diana. Now, why do we undertake formative evaluation? We see there, we say without formative evaluation, you may be embarking on a project that may not meet a real need. That's why I was given the description, we want to understand things as they are. Formative evaluation is especially important in community engagement and behavior change projects, as such interventions are often complex and therefore require careful monitoring processes. We undertake this so that we are not like IMF who just bring in things for the sake of it. No, we need to have a proper reason. Next, Diana, just move to the next. The other reason of formative evaluation often lends itself to what? Qualitative methods of inquiry. Why do we have qualitative methods of inquiry on the formative evaluation? Is because there are no numbers that you would have generated or are there. The question asked in formative evaluation are generally more open and lead to exploration of process. It is exploratory in approach, both from the viewpoint of participants, but also from the project staff and other stakeholders. You want to explore, to allow the community to bring out by themselves what they feel it is the situation. That's why you don't want to have a quantitative mode of inquiry in formative, in baseline, in initial, because you don't know anything. Okay, behave as, even if you live there, kindly remove yourself from there. Come as a visitor. Let them tell you in their language, in the manner they understand it, using their own descriptive way. The moment you put quantitative, you will miss out, and I don't want you to miss out. Next. Now, what are the categories of formative evaluations that you may have? The first question, the first categories we have is proactive, clarificative, interactive, and monitoring. So when we say, when do we do proactive? Proactive ahead of term, ahead of event. So this one we do it pre-project. But when the project is ongoing, we get now to the clarificative. We want to clarify. So that one we do it during the project development, when we have already planned, initiated, and the program is ongoing. And when do we have now? No, during the development, when the project is being designed. And when do we have interactive formative evaluation? During project implementation. So we have people on the site, this and that is happening, and then we can do an evaluation, a qualitative inquiry during project implementation. And when we do a formative evaluation that is similar to monitoring, also during project implementation. Why do we do proactive pre-project? To understand or to clarify the need for the project. Can we justify that this project is needed, this program is needed? Why do we do clarificative formative evaluation? To make clear the theory of change that the project is based on, so that it's not just clarification, but now want to make it crystal clear. When do we do interactive? Why do we do interactive evaluation? To improve the project design continually, improvement as it is rolled out. And the monitoring will be to ensure that the project activities are being delivered efficiently and effectively, resource-wise and otherwise. Some examples. Let me hear some of the examples. Could somebody help me read the examples kindly? Can I have somebody read the examples just to be sure that we are seeing the same script? Somebody could read.
Stakeholder analysis, problem or solution tree analysis.
Engineer your network.
Okay. The examples here we see literature review, stakeholder analysis.
Under proactive, yes.
Under proactive, stroke solution tree analysis. Then in clarificative, we have log frame, matrix, program, and logic. Under interactive, we have semi-structured interview, focus, group, or FGD. And then monitoring, we have budget tracking, time tracking, questionnaire, dashboard, observation. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're talking about the categories of a formative evaluation under a proactive, clarificative, interactive, and monitoring, is just to have, when you do literature review, when you are carrying out stakeholder analysis, a problem analysis, solution tree, you are actually being proactive. You're going ahead of time to ensure that you capture the best. But when you start coming up with the logical framework, matrix, or program logic, you are now at the point of working on clarificative, clarifying exactly and justifying the intervention. When you find yourself now having some structured interview, focused group discussions, you are now becoming interactive. You want to interact with the beneficiaries as well as the project team. And at monitoring, you will find yourself now looking at the budget tracking, the time tracking, how much time are we spending, how much money are we spending based on the scope of the work, and you have some questionnaires here and there that are able now to be filled in. We have dashboard or observation. Excellent. Next, having talked about formative evaluation, let us now come with me. Let us look at summative evaluation models. Summative evaluation models. The summative evaluation looks at the impact of an intervention on the target group. I've said this one is looking at now the impact. This type of evaluation is arguably what is considered most often as evaluation by project staff and funding bodies. Whenever somebody talks about evaluation, actually they would want to look at not formative, but at summative. In fact, formative, they use the term baseline and initial or the context, but they don't consider it as an evaluation. Evaluation is just to understand the worthiness. So whenever the word evaluation comes in, most people refer evaluation as summative evaluation. Anyway, summative evaluation can take place during the project implementation, but is most often undertaken at the end of the project. More often. As such, summative evaluation can also be referred to as to what? Ex post evaluation, meaning after the event. Ex post evaluation. Why undertake summative evaluation? Can somebody help me now from your own understanding and discourse? Why should we take a summative evaluation? Why should we undertake summative evaluation? Can I have some responses? Yes, I see Evelyn's hand is up. And any other person kindly join. Let me hear. What do you think? Because this has been the narrative about evaluation. I'm listening.
According to me, I would say the overall aim is to understand whether the project achieved as per the design or not in terms of the overall impact or goal. Thank you.
Good. I see Peres Maihaki saying we want to understand. Oh, the chat has gone. Let me go to it as well so that we don't miss out. We want to understand. Want to measure achievement of goals. Good. Asante sana. Any other person? You could speak or put on the chat, and we carry on. We are engaging in space.
Yeah, I'll say something on that. Summative evaluation is carried out in order to get to know if the expectations have been met. Also get to learn where are the areas that were not the areas or goals that were not achieved, so that you'll be able to improve for improvement in the next
Good
course of action. Yes.
Excellent. Now, Dana put here what Mwalimu had put so that we, Victoria saying can help understand if the end expected goals were achieved within budget. Within budget will be, summative, because we also want to look at quite a number. Dana, next slide. Yes, those responses are very clear and correct. But also, let me add on, summative evaluation provides means to find out whether your project has reached its goals, objectives, and outcome. It has reached, like what Robert has actually said, did we really finish what we started in terms of their goals? And what Mihaki has put also, did we manage to bring about other things that were either implemented along the way or might have come in as an enablement? Summative evaluation also allows you to quantify, hallelujah, to quantify the changes in the resource use attributable to your project, so that you can track how you have impacted the impact of your project. Can we say you brought in water at a cost of $2 million US? Is this water serving the families of the communities? Let's look, for example, the project in Galana Kulalu, for those who reside in the Kenyan territory, which was meant to increase food production in maize production. Can you attribute that the price of food in Kenya is going down because we have mass production in Galana Kulalu? So we want just to quantify the changes in resource use attributable to your project. Next. Want to look at now, what are some of the categories you could find out that come in summative evaluation? What are some of the categories that come in summative evaluation? Remember, summative evaluation is outcome based. Outcome based. When do we do summative evaluation? Project implementation and post-project implementation. During project implementation and post-project implementation, program implementation. Here we are not going to do with operation because we want to measure what has been done and dusted, not what is going on. What is going on, operation, we'll leave it to the hands of those who are doing monitoring. For us evaluators, please finish, close your shop, go. Let us come and look at what you did. We are not going to be there when you are there. We'll come when you have left. Why do we do summative evaluation? To assess whether the project has met its goals, whether there were any unintended consequences. What were the learning and how to improve of them? The benefits and disbenefits. What data type do you have when you're carrying out summative evaluation? We have quantitative data and we have qualitative data. Quantitative data and qualitative data, which means when you're doing summative evaluation, you can use mixed mode data collection method. That's not research design. I'll give you the designs that are there. But for now, just understand the data collection and the data type for summative evaluation is quantitative and qualitative, which means you can have mixed. The examples there, can somebody help read the examples of quantitative data and qualitative data? Somebody read the examples.
Okay, examples of quantitative and qualitative data are metering, that is a quantitative metering, meter reading, audits and counts, questionnaires, deemed savings, footprints and calculators. And then on the side of qualitative, we have focus group, storytelling / most significant change, then outcome hierarchy. That's all.
Yeah, well, good. Those are examples. When metering, you understand what it is. Just you have put the meter water there, or meter reading, you are reading those there, or audits, counts, numbers, questionnaires. Very, very excellent. Deemed savings. How much are you saving from this? Mama Mboga now is saying that I used to save 200 shillings. Now with this GNZ revolution, now she's saving 500. Yeah. Footprint calculators in terms of maybe the carbon, quantitative. Then qualitative is now you go, you sit down with the people, you have a focused group, you give them a theme, you discuss storytelling. You know, when Gen Z started online, they said they are Gen Z and they reject finance bill, but now Ruto must go, now this and that. Yeah, until we have what we have. Then we have the most significant change. The most significant change also, you want to see how the life of individuals were and how the life is after the Galana Kulalu, for instance, has been brought about. Then we have the outcome hierarchy. The outcome hierarchy will be looking at what's the individual initial outcome. Yes, we are providing food, and then you find that now that we have food production from Galana Kulalu, now the shops are coming up. Now the area that used to be a small village is now becoming an urban center, and it's come an urban center. It means that we are attracting now other other investment. Now we need a hospital, we need an airport. Okay, just because of Galana Kulalu, we need an airstrip. Yes, and the airport, and then the hospitality industry expands. Now you see the outcome hierarchy. It becomes very interesting when you're doing summative evaluation. Next, Diana. So we have some types of summative evaluations require the collection of baseline data in order to provide a before and after intervention figures. So you need to have what was the matter before and what it is now. As such, it is important to factor this into the evaluation design. So when you are going up to carry out evaluation, it's good to understand what was the situation and the condition. That's why we're talking about a formative evaluation before you look on the summative. If you do not know how it was, what will be measuring? Baseline survey and data. When we're talking about quantitative methods, they deal with the numerical data. The numbers of people, the number, and quantitative methods can reach large number of people and generally involve a short interactions. So when we're talking about quantitative data, Diana, it's good to have that the numbers, and we've seen that example. So the popularity of collecting quantitative data reflects the old adage that you can't manage what you can't count, you can't measure. So that's why quantitative data comes in. You can't manage what you can't count, you can't measure. So as long as you can measure, then you can manage. Anyway, that it is. Next. But on qualitative data, the qualitative methods deals with words or communications, whether that is text, voice, or visual. Qualitative research seek, amongst others, to find out what people are doing and why they are doing it. So you want to know what, why, what stops them from changing the meaning people construct with the actions and how they see their role and actions in wider scale. So qualitative is just looking at mostly behavior. Diana, next, as I get to interact with the delegate Leonard Mayende. Yes, Leonard?
Leonard, you can unmute.
Okay.
He's muted, so we are not able to.
Sorry. You're able now to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm saying I'm following and I'm much acquainted with what you are saying. So we can just proceed.
Good, thank you. So
Right.
qualitative methods generally involve longer personal interaction. You know, for you to carry out like a summative evaluation and you're using qualitative data collection method, you may need to have a longer duration, not just 1 day, because it takes time for people to open up to you, and you have quite a lower number of people. A qualitative data collection evaluation is founded with the belief that meaningful information and evaluation requires an understanding of the context in which change occurs. As long as you have a proper understanding of the context in which change occurs, then you can do qualitative data collection. Next. What are the key principles in monitoring and evaluation participation? What are those things that would inform your monitoring and evaluation? How do you participate in it? I think this I'll just invite somebody to read and they'll be able to indulge there. Can I have somebody who is seeing what we are seeing? Yes, Franzini.
Okay, I will read. Key principles in monitoring and evaluation participation, qualitative as well as quantitative. Both dimensions of participation must be included in the evaluation in order for the outcome to be fully understood. Dynamic as opposed to static. The evaluation of participation demands that the entire process over the period of time to be evaluated and not merely as a snapshot. Conventional ex post facto evaluation, therefore, will not be adequate.
So we are agreeing that you need to have qualitative as well as quantitative. Both dimension you need to understand. At some point, you will be looking at quantitative data. At some time, you will be looking at qualitative. Then dynamic as opposed to static. You see, things change and the people change. And if you're not very careful, you may not get it. That's why the evaluation of participation demands that the entire process of a period of time be evaluated and not merely a snapshot. So you want to evaluate before, during, and after. Don't come afterward and then you say, we did, my friend. We need to see also, whenever they say the means justify the ends, we also want to see those means we can talk about. Yes, next. What is, next, Dana? What's the central importance of monitor? That's another principle. Enter response into the data collection template. Make sure that you have your data collection template during monitoring and evaluation. Responses can be entered based on the question number or question identifier, depending on how you have put it. It's best to enter one theme per line to help coding, especially if responses have both positive and negative responses. You might have individuals, then they have the yes and no or otherwise. Please, just a principle is that make sure that you have each line. In order to analyze the data you have collected, you'll need code, the responses on themes. You may have broad themes, each workshop, or subcategories within themes. You may also want to code response into whether they were positive or negative or non-committal. Participatory evaluation, it says now, in the entire evaluation process, the people involved in the project have part to play. The people themselves will also have a voice. Do not lock out the participants. Those who implemented during Kibaki's regime, during Uhuru's regime, and during Ruto's regime. If they are there, let them come and shed some light. We don't want to lock them out. Anyway, if you lock them out, James will go for them and they'll come. Next, have some of the definitions or the key concepts to be considered in your MAL, and this one I'll just invite somebody to read through. I think that's 2-3 slides. Yes, can I have somebody again just to read, because these terms are out there. Will not know just to have much.
All right,
let
me proceed.
Francine, thank you.
Surveys are the most common quantitative research method and involve the systematic measurement of variables within the sample. The data is statistically analyzed to see if there are many distinct relationships or patterns. Questionnaire. The questionnaire is the most common tool to gather survey information. A questionnaire can be delivered in various ways: paper-based, online, face-to-face, or over the telephone.
Good. Go to next, Diana. Another person can take up the next slide. Excellent.
Concept definition continuation. Statistical analysis provides a means to analyze quantitative data. Statistics seeks to describe patterns and trends in the data and present information in a form that allows a person to make a judgment. That is an evaluation. without the need to interpret all the raw data. This statistics means the raw data is that this can be done through description or explanation or prediction. Descriptive statistics are the simplest form and consist primarily of describing the data. For example, how many respondents undertook the desired behavior, what is the range of answers, or what the range of answers was, description of the central tendency and spread of the data. Explanation and prediction are generally more complicated and require the correction of good data sets and need higher order computation and interpretation. For example, test of significance or coefficient of correlations.
Good. Next. We are doing good. Who's reading next? Thank you. Who's reading next? Ahmed. Ahmed Sedari, you want to read or you have a question?
What to read?
Oh, carry on. Carry on, Ahmed. Thank you.
Yeah. Post-test design involves one of the survey, and you are usually aware that the evaluation question is describing the word increasing knowledge flow in the workshop. Post-test design are very popular, but you cannot interfere casual relationship. Where workshop significant increase in knowledge.
Next. Next bullet. Pre-test, post-test design. Somebody? Ahmed, carry on.
Okay. Pre-test, post-test design measure change result from the interfaces by comparing pre-interface information to post-interface information. It is important to get the same responders to take part in both pre and post-test in order to draw valid conclusions.
Good. Next term, I know you people, you have a very good background in project management. Yes. Next slide, Diana, as the reader is unmuted.
Yeah, let me. Yes. Key concept definition is to consider in matter. Quantitative experimental design.
Diana, we see the next slide.
Huh?
We are not seeing the next slide, Diana. It has not changed.
I think that's the next slide.
That's
experimental design.
Yeah, it has changed, Mwalimu. We are on quasi-experimental design.
Yeah, design.
Oh, hapa kwangu ja change. Okay, read, carry on, whoever is reading.
Okay. So where multiple measurements are taken over time and when the control groups are introduced, because internal design, experimental design are used when you are wanting to know with some confidence whether the project or the particular intervention has caused change. A control group is made up of similar demographics to the target group, but it does not experience the same intervention. This allows the project staff to determine if any change in the target group can be attributed to the intervention or other variables. So the third one, publication. Publication refers to the complete set of the research objectives relevant to the question and project under review.
Excellent, excellent. These are terms that we are reading because they're coming in from your skill you acquired in your research. And I don't want to repeat, but it's a good reminder. These are the concepts you have to acquaint yourself when you want to be a monitoring and evaluation research and learning officer. Next, Diana. Okay, as I think it is taking time to load from the Diana side. Yes, somebody to read?
Sample, can I read?
Can I read?
Eileen. Yes,
Yes.
Eileen.
Okay, so a sample refers to a group that comprises the population. The aim is to get data from a respective representative sample in order to make generalization for the population. The benefit of sample is that they are cheaper and less time consuming to obtain. Probability sampling. This is where every member of the population has an equal chance to be selected. There are different types of probability sampling, such as simple random sampling or stratified random sampling, amongst others. Non-probability sampling. This is where individuals from the population are targeted based on some criteria. This includes accidental or convenience sampling, snowballing sampling. You cannot intercause effect relationships from non-probability sampling.
Thank you. So we're having a sample, we say a group that comprises the population, that when you pick them to talk with them, to observe them, they present similar features and characteristics of the population. They are representative. And how do you do that? We have two ways. A probability sampling, where you say that every member has an equal chance to be selected, even if he's 1 day old, or non-probability, whereby you decide on who to use or who to invite in your space. And those are just some of the terms. Now, as monitoring, evaluation, and research officer, yes, as we look at the terms, then we'll be drawing on tools and techniques from, next slide, tools and techniques from other disciplines. We have mentioned your knowledge in leadership and governance, your knowledge in strategic management, your knowledge in program design, your knowledge in program design, in project design, and now your knowledge in research. So monitoring and evaluation is one important way you can apply your skills in that. Having said that, we now want to look at what are some of the software and resources for M&E professionals that are out there that we can use. I think that is the last section of our presentation. If I'm not wrong, Diana can confirm. I think that is the last. Now, yes, Diana, next, before we allow questions. Almost every development project involves a monitoring and evaluation focal point, tasked with the collection and reporting of data set by donors and partners. So remember, we have the data collection, the data manipulation, which is called analysis, and the data presentation, which is now the information being shared out. So it involves that. These processes are critical in helping assess stakeholder engagement, evaluate the success of the project and interventions, and shape future budgetary and programming decisions. So how do we collect this data? That's the questions we now want to get into it very, very fast. Slide number 33. Number 32 means it's repeated. Go to next. So M&E professionals use a range of methodologies we have mentioned: qualitative, quantitative, or mixed, to collect data and draw conclusions on program effectiveness, and it's therefore useful to have some knowledge of software that supports these things. So when you look at your qualitative data and quantitative data or mixed, it's good to know what is in the market that will help you carry out this assignment in a very great and deliberate way. One, there are few terminologies, abbreviations actually. Yes, next, Diana. There are few abbreviations that you need to understand. One is what we call computer-assisted personal interviews. CAPI, computer-assisted personal interviews. If you're to carry out an interview, do we have some of the softwares or the programs that will fit in there? The other terms we might have come across as a M&E practitioner is pen-to-paper interviews, PAPI, pen-to-paper personal interviews, PAPI, or computer-assisted field entry. Actually, it's supposed to be cafe, not care. I think should be. I think that R should be cafe. Just write, if you're putting there, just type cafe in abbreviation. So when you see these abbreviations coming up your way, maybe you have an interview and then you say, what is your CAPI or what PAPI or cafe, which tools? Don't worry so much. Now, the first tool I want to look at, which is designed, yes, Diana, which is designed for global development. It's called LogFramer. Currently, we have LogFramer 3.1. It's a program by FaciliDev, specialized in project management, using logical framework approaches. It has components of result-based project management, project cycle management, and logical framework analysis. It is a very good program that you can use to carry out program design and project design, all the way to helping you to develop the tools, the indicators. Actually, it has 17 indicators, then the tools for data collection and analysis. What it does not do is data presentation, but you have the option of exporting your report either in Excel or Word. Then you can now have it in any other form. Often the real challenges of working with the result-based management approach is to develop your organization's monitoring and evaluation system. But now the LogFramer 3.1 helps you to develop this system very easily. It is used by United Nations agencies, countries and development partners, NGOs, and national and county governments. So LogFramer currently 3.1, which is in the market, is used widely. The second tool, the second program you might have, you need to understand as a MAL practitioner, is Activity Info. Activity Info has been used to support cluster management, care management, and interagency coordination with the staff working on projects in locations including Iraq, Mali, Lebanon, Somalia, Yemen, and Central Republic Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Activity Info is designed to support work on education, on health, non-food items, protections, shelter, and water and sanitation. So this is also another program that has actually been very useful in those areas, in those sectors, education, health, and non-food items. It is used by United Nations agencies, NGOs working in humanitarian operations. So if you work in humanitarian operations, you might have or you may come across this. The third tool designed for global development is ComCare. Its drag and drop tools help users build applications quickly and without the need for coding. So this one just helps you to come up with the tools very fast. They can then collect data even when offline and use case management tools for built-in decision support and notification, and link data from multiple forms to avoid duplication. So it's a very interactive application. The reporting tools make it easy for users to aggregate and visualize data and spot trends. Other features include workforce performance tracking. Very interesting thing about ComCare. It has been used in healthcare interventions for children under 5 in Burkina Faso, to deliver agricultural training and support malaria preventions across Africa. So ComCare is used by Rainforest Alliance, 1 Acre Fund, Catholic Relief Service, Johns Hopkins University, Partners in Health, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So if you ever have a tender or an assignment with these agencies, they might as well ask you your skill and your proficiency in using such a tool. The fourth tool will be Dev Results software, which includes interactive map features which have built-in intelligence on the country's administrative boundaries and allow users bird's eye view of the geographical context in their program. So the Dev Results is also another program. Users can customize data disaggregation. You define success indicators and set up the program results framework. Very critical thing. Other features supports collaboration and management through photo galleries. You know, Dev Results, you can have images, and which is now the current thing, evidence by the images. You can have work plans and budget tracking tools. It is used by USAID, Chemonics International, World Learning, and Feed the Children. Dev Results. The fifth, designed for global development, is Granity. Granity is designed to support nonprofits and social enterprises with the planning and reporting process. Do you want to plan? Do you want to do a proper reporting? Then Granity will just meet your needs. Users can create checklists and surveys. And remember, checklist is one of the most important tools in management. If you have put your checklist, like we have put my agenda, it becomes very easy. And surveys for routine tasks, procedures, or generate automated reports, just because you have reprogrammed. Granity also works for mobile data collection and online data storage. So when you talk about copy, Granity can easily come in as computer-assisted personal interviews. So you can have the application, people in the field can easily fill in. Next, designed for global development, again we have Kobo Toolbox. This is one for use for data collection in a demanding context. It works online and offline from mobile devices, either tablet or phone. It is used by humanitarian organizations, researchers, and aid workers to create forms, share projects with the colleagues, and create summary reports with the graphs and tables. So if you have had Kobo Toolbox, it's very critical. The features also allow users to visualize collected data on map, including heat maps or clusters or disaggregated data in reports, maps by gender, region, or educational level. So Kobo Toolbox is also in the open market. You open your feature, you can have your file, and then you work on it. Very interesting, particularly when you're collecting quantitative data. Instead of sending out questionnaire, you can have the Kobo Toolbox. The other tool, number 7, is Log Alto. This software enables users to design logical frameworks, monitor indicators, and collect and upload data by project. Each project, wherever they are, they can use Log Alto. It's Australian-based. Users can access live reports and create tables and charts. Remember, when you have the data collection, data analysis, and data presentation, Log Alto can do all those 3 things very critically. The software can also help used in offline model and be assessed on a mobile app for custom forms. Used by NGO, foundations, governments, ministries, and donors. Very interesting. The other tool you will have is Magipi. Magipi originally developed to support child vaccination campaigns around the world. MAGPI is now used across health education, outbreak response, program coordination, monitoring and evaluation. It provides solutions for mobile data collection, messaging, and visualization. So MAGPI, when we're using the phone, you can use it to collect data, messaging, and you visualize the presentation. It has specific tools with support beneficiary registration. Like when you're using the social programs in Kenya, where the beneficiaries are being registered, MAGPI can do that work very well because it has specific tools to support beneficiary registration, collection of voice, mobiles and SMS data, conference polls, emergency alerts, and data integration. It has been used to monitor activities in Syria, improve polio programming in Nigeria, track newborn deaths in the DRC, observe electrical progress in Tanzania, and facilitate communication with the farmers in Chile. Used by UN Population Fund, PACT, UNICEF, and John SNO Inclination. Very interesting thing about MAGPI. Mobenzi is another one designed to support frontline workers operating the field. Mobenzi features help M&E professionals create forms for mobile data collection again, and then share data insights through charts and maps. So Mobenzi, if you're using it, you can actually share data very, very seamlessly. Seamlessly, yes. It supports field worker management performance reporting. Now, when you instead of have it driving all the way to the field to see what's happening with the Mobenzi, you have all that figured out. Used by primary health workers, teams, as well as for projects in education, early childhood development and field research, by World Vision, USAID, Norwegian Refugee Council, and Oxfam. The other tool, MAL tool you may have is Open Data Kit, free and open source software for collecting, managing, and using data in a resource-constrained environment. If an environment that is resource-constrained, you do not have much personnel, technique, Open Data Kit is here for you. It has been used to monitor rainforests, observe elections, and track disease outbreaks. By who? World Health Organizations, like during COVID-19, USAID, Red Cross, Jane Goodall Institute. And you know, Jane Goodall Institute is one of the areas that actually, some of the organizations that are globally known. Very interesting, I think, to have. The other tool that you may come across is what we call Survey CTO. Survey CTO is designed for researchers and professionals working in offline settings. You know, most of us were online, but now if you want to work on offline settings, users can collect data using mobile phones or tablets, then access it immediately when they go online. There are tools to help users design and test forms, monitor incoming data for quality, and visualize it as it comes in. So Survey CTO is also a very critical thing. Diana, you have not changed your page? So Survey CTO has been used for essential medicines programs in Uganda, WASH projects in West Africa, health and public policy evaluations in Kenya, HIV research in Rwanda, and newborn and child health programs in Ghana. Who are using it? Innovation for Poverty Action, Abdul Latif Jamil Poverty Action Lab, World Bank, Elizabeth Glaser Pediatrics Aid Foundation. Very thing. So whenever you have yourself, you may need this. Now, those that are widely used across all sectors. The first one will be Starter. Diana, next. As I come to conclusion, Starter is software for data science. It's designed to support professionals working in economics, in education, medical research, political science, public health, public policy, and finance, business, and marketing. So it is a whole program, but this one is mostly for data analysis. What I've mentioned individually are mostly used for data collection and analysis, but this one is for data analysis. Please go collect your data, then subject it to Starter. It offers a range of surveying methods, the data collected from different surveys, tests and predictions, resampling and simulation methods, data management features, and data analysis, including cluster, Bayesian, and survival analysis. So Starter, its strength is in the analysis, but it helps you to design which data. The other application for analysis is SPSS, Statistical Package for Social Sciences, which was first launched in 1968 before being acquired by IBM in 2009. With SPSS, users can run descriptive statistics, regression, and advanced statistics. Then you can create from SPSS, we now can create now charts, tables, in addition to decision trees to visualize the results. The other tool specific is DHS2, District Health Information Systems, District Health Information Software. It's a free open source health management data platform that currently is used in 60 countries. It is used to support health-related projects, including patient health monitoring, improving disease surveillance, pinpointing outbreaks, and spreading up health data access. So DHS can help health workers aggregate statistical data collection, data validation, data analysis, data management, and visualization. So the DHIS is a complete set. It helps you to carry out data collection, analysis, validation, and even visualization. Very interesting item. It is used by European unions, non-governmental organizations, and governments. And we have said about 60 governments. Wow. Last but not least, hope I'm not taking much of your time, is NVivo. There are no the others, Capi, Pape, and whatever. NVivo. This is a software purpose built for qualitative and mixed method data analysis. NVivo was recommended by 4 M&E specialists, David Spock, for handling qualitative data. It's most commonly used by academics and researchers, including in public health studies. NVivo, it allows data to be imported from almost any source. Text, audio, video, emails, images, spreadsheets, online surveys, social websites like Facebook, Twitter, and web content. Hey, NVivo. When Gen Z. In addition to query and visualization tools, there is an automated description tool to help speed up this time-consuming part of the research. You know, when you are doing qualitative data, the transcription is the most challenging thing. But now with the NVivo, it's not on the open source, you have to buy. It's good. So if you're in the academic, if you're in the consultancy, and you find yourself with the assignment to analyze or to collect and analyze both qualitative and quantitative data, particularly the mixed method mode, then my recommendation will be you need to have proper skills in NVivo. Yes, you have skills in Starter, you have skill in SPSS, but you are about to get the big time and big thing. So NVivo, for any researcher in monitoring, evaluation, and research and learning, it is one tool, one program that will do you most favor. Thank you for listening to me, dear delegates. Hope you have, I know I have rushed quite a number of areas, but allow me to stop here and invite quarrels, questions, critiques, compliments, cries, and confusion from the delegates. Diana, mic to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diana, can I proceed?
Just a moment. Just a moment before I allow uh, everyone to give their contribution. Let's first give a round of applause to the trainer for a good job well done. You noticed that, there are these tools that some of us have been interacting with as project managers and different professionals, but now been we have he has revealed more tools, more alternatives. So it's just a matter of us to go back to this recording and find out how the others can work well, better than what we've been doing, and how we can improve. So I thank you so much for that comprehensive presentation. You have covered so much, especially the tech tools that can be used for project managers and evaluators and those who monitor projects. So we're getting to the Q&A session. So we are kind of allowing the trainer to take a breather from all the presentations he has made. I will be sharing the attendance register in the chat section as we go along with the Q&A session. So please keep an eye out for that. Ensure you sign up or you sign the attendance register before you exit, because now I'm sure most of you might be exiting in the interest of time, but just remember to sign before you leave. So I'm already seeing a lot of hand up. I'll invite Geoffrey. Geoffrey, you had a question. So there was someone who was
Leonard Mende, I'm the one who had
okay.
actually requested you to talk.
Okay, Leonard, you can proceed and ask your question.
First of all, I want to thank the presenter. It's been a very nice session, and it has really equipped, I know it has equipped most of us, but I just want to be quick in asking a question, though it's not really a question. There's a framework, a log frame, or a log framework, portfolio, and also the business case. What relationship could we be talking about the log framework, the portfolio, and business case? And then lastly, we have dev results, and also in a project we have mapping or doing survey. What also the kind of comparison or relationship between the mapping and dev results? Thank you.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wetangula.
Can I have another question so that I deal with
Okay.
them at a go?
Okay, I'll invite Cosma Opira.
Okay, thank you very much for the training. Mine is simple. Like to know, would there be an opportunity that maybe probably any of the trainers would have a run through with one of the prominent softwares on how it can be approached on a practical basis? And let's say the trainer sharing their screen as they introduce some of us to some of the most applicable softwares used around most of the NGOs or sectors. Thank you.
That's a good question and feedback from Cosma. That's also important because, as you've seen, there are different tools for different programs. So I'll still allow the trainer to make a comment on that. Any other person with a question?
Okay, as they load the question, I think Mayende has asked about what's the relationship between logical framework, portfolio, and business case. Now, logical framework is a tool for designing to help you have a clarificative, to clarify what was put in during initial discussion. So it's just a tool. When you're talking about a tool, remember, as a program manager or a project manager, you need quite a number of tools to help you carry out your work well. So one of the tools that has been tried and tested in the program implementation, the design of it, and carrying out is logical framework. So when you see LogFramer 3.1, for example, it's now a software that carries the paper-based logical framework to a computer-based logical framework, which is actually a computer-aided field entry. So CAFE comes in there. A portfolio, we said, is in hierarchical order, the order in which we normally put roles and functions in an organization. We have the topmost is the strategic level at the CEO, and then from the topmost part of the organization, we come now to the portfolio to have strategically coordinated undertakings, which might use the term program or project. So portfolio is just a composite or a group of undertakings to help meet the organizational objectives. A business case is the initial document developed after looking at the strategic direction we want to take as an organization or a business, so that we put it what we call business. It's actually a document to justify our interventions. Why are we doing this? So that this is the first formal document to be put up. Now, what's the relationship between results, mapping, and survey? Result in research, it is the deliverable we get after we have done the research. It's actually a knowledge-based. Mapping is to cite and indicate individual components and items for easy of reference and easy of intervention. Then survey is one of the tools that you can use in data collection. It's just a formal tool for data collection. I think the other participant has asked, do we have anywhere we can have to learn some of this software? I did not mention most of them. We have, for the data collection, we have somewhere you can learn Kobo Toolbox for data collection and MAGPI. For data analysis, yes, I know. I think what he asked, do we have, maybe Diana might guide us later, do we have amongst us somebody who has ever used Kobo collection or any other tool? That what the participant is asking, that we can have a day, like maybe next Friday, where we are being taken through bit by bit. This is how you design the tool. This is how you bring about. This is how you deal with the errors. This is how you generate reports. This is how you do that. I can do that if given time on the log framer 3.1. I know we have others who can do it on Kobo Toolbox, who can take us through SPSS, who can take us through the NVivo. Then when it comes to data presentation also, we have like the Power BI, which is a good tool that is coming up. So what the delegate is asking Diana and the organizers is, can we have these individual tools mounted? And I think when you are done, we'll be able to know. And before we finish our classes in monitoring and evaluation, we'll have added a skill over and above the general. Good. Any other question? Ayubu Mutanda. Chako.
Yes, Mr. Ayub, you can unmute and ask your question. In the meantime, remember there is an attendance register at the comment section. Ensure you click the link and fill in the details that are there, then you submit. The question that Cosma had asked, we will address it at the end of the other sessions. I will address it at the end of the Q&A while in this session, so you can wait for that feedback. We have Ayub. Are you able to hear us? Okay, if he's not ready, I can invite Geoffrey Nyongesa.
Thank you so much, Diana, for the opportunity. And I also want to thank the trainer. The information in the training is just informative and very impactful. So mine is not it's not a question per se, but I just want to request that can we be getting this presentation in terms of downloadable document, because this information is very, very useful, but you see we are not able to cope with the speed in terms of writing once during the presentation time, because we try to maybe copy these notes, but because of time the presenter, the slides move fast, and we feel these are good resources that we need to have all the information to help us for reference and even for revision. But now the challenge the person have been facing is we are not able to cope, so we end up missing this information. So I might request that, or I want to understand why maybe it has not been possible for you to be sharing this information or these documents for reference.
Okay, thank you for that concern also. We strive to ensure that, there's this aspect of, you might assume, okay, there'll be slides at the end of the training. Do I have to stick through the whole process? And also the thing about writing and putting things down, maybe Engineer Robert will tell us more on that, is that we are hoping that the best you can find, you may have these slides with you, but opening them per se might be so difficult. So the habit, or the getting into this habit of writing things down, what you can remember at least, or what is very important, then going back to the YouTube channel to understand why it was the way it was said, to understand the context. I think that really is relevant, but we will still consider your concern, and maybe we will share the final decision in the WhatsApp group regarding the slides, because that has become an issue that keeps on coming up. But we're just hoping that if you have the slides, it will elevate you rather than to make you become assume and say, I will look into it one time, and yet you never ever get the concept itself. Yes. So any other person with a question? So attendance, make sure you've signed the attendance. On the question that Cosma had asked, I'm sure some of us have interacted with some of the tools that have been mentioned in this training, and there are those that we are hearing them for the first time. And so there are those that you've interacted with them and you may be thinking that is the best, only to realize that you've been missing out on maybe a different one. So I'm hoping that in the future we're going to create a platform where we will enable people to share their experiences with different tools based on the kind of problem or solution they were looking for, so that we also get the nuances, so that you don't just say, I can use Kobo for this, but they now give you the insights of why they even chose Kobo for that particular activity. So that's something that we're going to consider, maybe in the Sunday Insights, or maybe after the topics that we had aligned. So keep an eye out on that. All communication will be done via WhatsApp and your email address. So always ensure you sign up with the right email address, or just remain in our WhatsApp group so that you don't miss that session. That's something that we will consider definitely. Any other person with a question, with a comment? I can see people are putting their names.
Okay, then I have a question. Is it a question or an insight?
Yes.
Okay. I want to acknowledge the presenter of the day. He has remembered the power of genes. So okay. My concern is the tools that he has been mentioning. Some of us, we come from interior places like Mount Elgon. So for instance, you are carrying out a project and you are doing an evaluation. Are we using the tools that are available on the ground, or the research is carried, then afterwards they do the evaluation in the offices using the tools that he has just mentioned?
I'll invite the trainer to comment on that.
Yeah, on the tools, if you are actually, sometimes an assignment can send you in the remote areas where there's no Wi-Fi, there's no signal, phone signals. That's why we have talked about paper, pen to paper, personal assistant, where we can now, you'll go with your pen, you'll go with your paper, you'll go with your camera, you'll collect your data there. But eventually, for ease of analysis, you may use your laptop, and in your laptop you might have installed programs like SPSS or NVivo. So when you do that, you now transfer your raw data to a system that can help you generate. But when it comes during data collection, interviews, you can have video, cameras, recording audios. There are those tools that are there. So we are not restricting that you must be computer compliant at the point of data collection. No, you can use any other means, traditionally, pen to paper, pen and paper. And then afterward, during analysis, if you want better and data that can be stored, that's when you will now use the computer aided devices. Thank you. It is firstborn princess. We don't know your exact name. Kindly share your name that is in the ID. Oh, those are three.
My name is Faith. Engineer Robert, kwanza wewe tunatoka area moja. My name is Faith Meteos. I'm from Mount Elgon.
What? You're my tribe mate.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith. Thank you. Firstborn princess. Okay, thank you. Yes, next.
I want to take this opportunity to compliment Chris. You've really added a very important thing. One thing, I attended an interview with one United Nations, one of the bodies. They asked me about these tools. I had Googled, but I could not get to this, what you have shared here. So you've really done a very important role. You have played a very important role here. And I want to concur with the one who asked the question about getting one and using it. And I thank you, because you have come on very swiftly. You have responded swiftly by suggesting if you can have a day, and I will be number one proponent for that. Otherwise, thank you very much. I have no much to say, only to looking forward to the next session. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, Engineer Robert.
Thank you.
So as we continue with this session, if you have ever interacted with any of these tools and you have experienced success, a tangible success, say in a project or just a program, then you can just reach out and let's interact so that we even start planning for that session as soon as possible. Let's get people who have actually done some one or two with these tools, and then we can finally organize a forum where everyone gets to contribute and say why they decided to go with that tool and how effective, cost effective it is for a non-profit or for any entity. So I think in our WhatsApp group, I'll share the training's email address. So if you have insight and all that, let's support each other in that, as we also look for other experts to support the members in that area. Any other question?
Or quarrel or cry.
I can see Mr. Anthony in the chat section. You have so much to say. Maybe you can just unmute and give us an insight of what you are putting in the chat section. We'd like to hear that, especially the last part that you talked about. Complexity, cost, purpose. Yes, that is very important. So maybe you can unmute and give us something.
Thank you, Diana. I'm in a situation I cannot contribute so much verbally. Maybe that's through written because I'm still on the road. Yeah. So.
But you can just mention.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wesonga. That was a wonderful presentation. It's new knowledge every day, and I think learning is important for every one of us. When we are doing MEL, and I think all of us are actually now interested in this aspect of being researchers in monitoring and evaluation, will need to interact with at least 2 or 3 tools that we are going to be using for both data collection, analysis, and interpretation for that matter. So when we are choosing a tool for the purpose of this particular assignment, we, like Firstborn Prince has said, it's availability is very important because some tools may not be available for a particular task or in a particular environment. So it's important to see or what is the budget available to cater for the particular assignment. So the cost of the tool, the availability of the tool whenever it's needed is also a factor that we consider as a team in carrying out the process. Also the aspect of flexibility. I've talked about in vivo being a very good tool, a very wonderful tool, but it's very complex, may need a lot of patience, learning and relearning about so many other components of it to enable it work effectively. So aspects of flexibility, and see as new people, as learners in the new journey, we may need to start with simple tools. As the time go by, as we also learn and increase our understanding, we now go for the most complex tools that give us better results. So let's start with the simplest tools. Like many a times we have used SPSS in many organizations. So if you're learning from SPSS, you can graduate to another version and then be able to interact with the in vivo and finally get to other tools. So we shouldn't feel like all of these tools, we need to know all of them together, but learn from one tool, then graduate to another, because ultimately all these tools have the features that almost look the same, except that now efficiency and elements of complexity and of course the purpose it's going to serve for a particular element. Of course, other organizations have particular recommendations on which tools that must be used. Remember, when we were doing strategic planning, we have talked about the terms of reference. We must agree which tools are we going to use for the purpose of carrying out this particular task. And so the organization also may dictate which tool they prefer their work to be undertaken. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I just knew if I allow you to speak, you would give a lot of insights. Yeah, there is the struggle of trying to understand every tool and how it works, and then there's the need to understand what the market is looking for. So you might try to understand all of them, but you might not really succeed unless you now start putting it into practice. And now that's why I really emphasized on the need for someone to say at what point did you use this tool and why did you consider it as the most effective one to use at a particular time or a period. And then once you've learned a few of them and how they work, most of them being the same, then you also look at what does this organization want, because you might be using Kobo and they want something else. You use yeah, but the essence of data collection remains the same. The principle of data collection, analysis, and all that remains the same. So the tools are just meant to help you to navigate different circumstances at different levels. Any other person with a comment, a question, even if you've used these tools and you just want to say this is how it went with you, it's okay. You can just unmute and let us know. Remember, the attendance register is in the chat.
Good. So
Maggie, I can see you commented something in the chat section. You're new to the M&D space. Yes, there's so much to learn, and it's quite an interesting topic and field to begin with. So welcome on board. Stay close to the trainers. You will have so much to learn from them and also to experience practically. Irene, you can just ask your question. Irene, do you have a question? Your hand is raised. Any other person with a question or concern before we call it a day? I don't know if we are able to, if we lost the trainer because he was about to say something and the network kind of happened. So while I've tried to find the link to the group, the WhatsApp group that we are in, if you have any question, you can just unmute and ask. Any other person with a question? I have shared the link to our WhatsApp group in the chat section as well. So you can also, if you're not part of us in the group, you can just join through that. Then we'll approve your requests as soon as possible. Thank you, Ayub, for those sentiments. Gentrin, I hear you. Thank you, members, for. If there's no other question, Ms. Namehe, are you able to hear me? Maybe it's just me and people can't hear me.
Yes, Diana, I can hear you.
People are too quiet.
Yeah, I'm available. I can hear you. I have no question but to thank you for always guiding us, for always ensuring God is well, for coordinating well. And our trainer, I've learned a lot. I keep learning every day. I keep adding every day, so every hour, every time we have these trainings. So I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Every day presents a learning opportunity. So this is one of those days. And this is the opportunity to learn from fellow project managers and other professionals. Any other comments? Okay, so thank you so much, members, for making time for today's session. I'd like to appreciate all of you for those who started from 5:20 up until now. I'd like to really appreciate the time you've taken with us here, and I hope you have learned one or two, or I hope even this session has just given you something to think about if you are already practicing. So I really thank you for joining us today. Let's just give ourselves a round of applause for the way we do it. It's not easy to just sit for 2 hours online virtually. For the questions, thank you so much. You always give us insights on how to improve these trainings and how to better share information with you so that it can actually benefit you in your day-to-day activities. So further comments or further concerns you can always put in the feedback form, which is part of the attendance register. And if you're not sure if you've signed the attendance, you can try doing it again just to make sure you've signed it, because you won't share it after this. So I'd like to wish all of you a happy weekend. We only have 2 days for the weekend. So I would like to wish all of you a happy weekend. For those who do not know so much about Gen Z, considering that we're coming from different walks of life, that's just an issue going on in Kenya about the new generation, the next generation. A lot has been mentioned in the meeting, in this training about Gen Z. I hope you are understanding. And members, please always remember you're part of a global community. Whichever way you're bringing your comment, remember there's someone in say Yemen who does not really actually understand Kiswahili. So we try to ensure that it's always English that we're using in these sessions. Yes, and even the examples, we always try to ensure that we find a way of bringing things that are either popular or that can be understood by everyone. If you have any comments, reach out to us via WhatsApp, email, whichever platform you feel suits you. We'll have this recording shared on YouTube, and then we'll share the recording in the WhatsApp section. We'll share the link in the WhatsApp group. Sorry, in the WhatsApp group. Thank you and have a great evening. Miss Hamid.
Diana, you've forgotten to wish me nice work over the weekend, yet I'm an emergency worker. Then you ask firstborn princess,
Actually,
which part of Eligon does she come from? She
actually,
might be my neighbor.
before Diana says something,
Yes.
Namene, you have done a lot. I can see, I've been seeing, I've been following, and on that side of United States of Kampala, you have done a great job.
Yes.
I hope we are coming with the firstborn princess to.
You let her first tell me where she comes from exactly, which part of Elgon. She might be my neighbor when I
She
don't
comes
know.
from, I think, Cheptais, if I'm not wrong.
No, Kapsokwanyawa.
Oh, Kapsokoni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is close to Karamochong
Of Ogiek.
in Uganda.
Exactly. In fact, my original source is from Uganda. My father is a Ugandan and my mother is a Kenyan.
That's where Ifli Namehe comes from.
Namehe,
Mututu.
Namehe, I'm hoping you're taking notes regarding what first the princess is saying. She's saying she's from Uganda. That means
See you at Nyumbani Hotel on 28th.
exactly.
We are coming. We are coming there.
All right. You are most welcome.
Okay, thank you.
We can't wait to meet.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. But before you go, just know we can't wait to see you in Uganda. She's already.
Okay, we will be there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, members. You're free to leave. The YouTube link will be shared in the WhatsApp group. For those who have not interacted with our content, you'll find even previous trainings on project management, strategic planning, and actually, strategic planning course is coming. Geoffrey?
Maybe the last, I realized that the last presentation,
Yes.
For the last Friday was not, the YouTube was not shared.
Yeah, that one we're kind of working on that. We will make sure it was recorded, so what is left is just to be uploaded. But there was a bit of technicalities here and there, but we are working around the clock to ensure that every video is uploaded. So that will be worked on as well. So regarding the slides, we have to make sure that if there are any corrections within the slide, we have to make sure they are corrected before we release them, just for quality purposes and just to ensure that we are putting the right information out there. So before you get the slides, you can always interact with the YouTube channel. It has everything, including explanations. So that's a great platform to interact with and even see previous trainings. So for those who are interested in the strategic planning course,